Welcome back to Steps Gaming. I am Steps and I'm here today. I am one of the privileged that have the Arcade1Up Yoga Flame cabinet in their hands already. And what I want to do today is answer, does this cabinet behind me belong in your game room, in your office, in your bedroom, wherever in the house you may keep your arcade? Some like to keep them in the kitchen. Does it belong in your home, right? Is this better than the Big Blue offering behind it from last year, 2021? Does this cabinet have features that are valuable to me as a streamer? And also, does this PCB work in the Big Blue? And does it work with existing Bobby Vu to Die For mods as a special treat to my friend, your friend, Bobby Vu? Let's get to it! Alright, so let's get down to business here. The first thing I'm going to tackle is the cosmetics, right? We have this beautiful side art. It's absolutely gorgeous. And of course, the Yoga Flame has the classic characters from, Champions Edition and Turbo Hyper Fighting. So it looks really good. And then we have the Yoga Flame, the orange, which makes the marquee pop, the orange trim pops. It's a really happening cabinet. I really like the design, the aesthetics. It looks great, right? So we're gonna tackle the marquee. The marquee behind me looks like it's washed out on camera, and I hate that because it doesn't really look that way. It looks really quite nice. It's not as good as the Big Blue marquee. The Big Blue marquee definitely is the sharpest, best marquee I've seen on the one-ups that I've had. It's fantastic. This one appears a bit softer, so it's just not. I don't like it quite as much as the Big Blue, and I was expecting it to be smaller, but look as good as the Big Blue. It does not. It's not bad marquee. It's fairly good. It's just not the same standard as the Big Blue. So, there you go. That's the truth on the marquee. Not bad, pretty good, not as good as Big Blue. The joysticks, they seem better, they seem improved. I had less issues pulling some moves off. I remember in the past, they get on a one-up and I'd be like, no, they go right away. I actually played Bobby Vu using these stock controls quite a few times. Of course, I lost all those matches, but that's what's going to happen when you play Bobby Vu, because he's a top-tier Street Fighter player, especially in Champions Edition, which is what I played him in. The buttons might be improved. I don't know. I don't like them. This is not news. Everybody says the controls are garbage. They want to replace them. I do think they've made a few steps in improving them, so that I'll give them that. But I'm still going to change them. That's just how it is. So next, the marquee is a tad off on vertical centering. It shows up. It's hard to tell with the cabinet on. Let's see if I can turn it off. You can see how down here there's nothing, and then up here there's a spot, and of course I can lift it up a bit, so I might be able to put some toothpicks in there or something and make it look a little bit better. Now, if you're approaching it from a really tall angle, it doesn't look quite as off. There's a gap there, but so that logo doesn't sink down into the grooves there. So there is a little bit, but this is still higher, and so that's a minor issue for me. If I do look at it, but I'm 5'11", just to let you know, I'm not short. So if I'm looking at it and it appears off center vertically, then yeah, it must be, right? Also, part of it plays in is the angle at which this marquee is, because it goes upwards. So it being a slightly off, even at that point, it's more noticeable. Okay? Let's see, the Dalsim is missing from the bezel. They took Dalsim out. This is the Yoga Flame edition. That's Dalsim, and he's not on the bezel. The other character's on the bezel. They just decided to take Dalsim out like he didn't even matter. Whoever was the graphic artist that did this, I don't know if they had passion for Street Fighter, because they would have noticed that Dalsim was missing. And so I would have taken out this little part that says a tough original 8. I just would have taken that out, and I'd move these characters up and leave Dalsim and just take this little blue icon off. That would have fixed the problem if you're shrinking the bezel, and it would have looked a lot better, and they would have had Dalsim. You can't take... The one character you take off is Dalsim? Somebody ought to slap you, okay? So, that's really the end of my negative, right? I gotta be honest in my reviews, as much as I love this cabinet, and this is the best one-up that I've purchased. but I am going to be honest and let you know what's really good and what's really bad. So, the deck is higher than Big Blue. It is a lot more comfortable. The angle's not angled down quite as much. The deck is higher. I definitely like it. And I'm sure this is the same deck style that's on the Mortal Kombat 30th, and it's going to be on the Marvel Capcom 2, so that's a good thing. The next thing about the deck is, as you can tell, it doesn't like cave in, and then you have this like cardboard cutout that's like angled down. Like, this actually looks like an arcade deck to a degree. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It looks less like a toy and more like an arcade. So this style cabinet is a huge improvement for Arcade1Up. I really like it. And of course my Bobby Voo deck is better, but it's gonna be. I paid a lot of money for that Bobby Voo deck, and so I give them huge leaps and bounds on this deck. It's a lot better. And all those people complaining about, oh, it's in the midway cap. Well, guess what? You don't have the midway cap style yet, and you don't know how much better it is. The deck's higher, it looks better, and it's definitely a huge improvement for Arcade1Up. Let's see, the processor in this PCB is 2 GHz versus 1.3 GHz. It is a lot faster. It's a huge performance upgrade. You could feel it in the game. And I can't really I don't know if I can show that to you. I can just tell you when I play it, it makes me want to play this PCB and not the Big Blue PCB because it's so much smoother, so much faster. The gameplay is better. And I tried to think about how could I show you an example. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll this video. This video is going to show you the example. And then I'm also going to start rolling into side-by-sides with Yoga Flame and Big Blue. Okay, so I want to show you the difference real quick. This is Big Blue. Alright, I'm on my Big Blue. I got a Bobby Voo deck, but it doesn't affect speed or performance. It's just the controls, right? So if I hit this button here, we want to leave. Alright? Now if I want to go through these, you see how it moves quickly, but it lags. I didn't mean to do that. See, I even went down there. That was my fault, though. I was just pressing the joystick. Okay, so local game. Let's see here. It takes a minute. Okay, I want out. See, eventually it kind of lags, right? The quickest you could do it is about like that. Now, I'm not showing this because you're going to want to go through games that fast. I just want to show you the difference in the speed. So, if I go over here to the new one, Yoga Flame, hit this button here. Maybe I should move this light so it doesn't shine on the screen, right? So, look at that. Stays with me. Stays with me the whole time. So you could tell there's a performance boost in this game versus the one over here. You definitely have a faster processor, possibly some other things. You know, you don't know what all involved because they don't really divulge that, but you could tell a performance upgrade right here. So now let's get into the differences between Big Blue and the Yoga Flame. Here you can see a side-by-side. Now, of course, again, I have the 2x4 deck. It's custom. Very nice deck. Highly recommend finding Bobby Voo, hunting him out, and getting your own 2x4 mod. Because those decks are literally to die for. Anyway, you can see how the Big Blue, it slants more down. Not only that, but it's not as high as the Yoga Flame. The Yoga Flame deck is higher, so it's more comfortable to play, especially if you're taller, and the angle is not as severe. So I give it an improvement on the deck. Again, now you can see side by side the marquees, and you can tell that the Big Blue marquee is slightly better than the Yoga Flame marquee. Just is. Just a matter of fact, right? I think it's a similar technology, so I don't know how it is that it's a little bit better, but it is. The other thing you can see is obviously the Yoga Flame has the coin door, which is nice. I need to put some coin door lights on there. I'm going to try to do that. That would look pretty sweet. But you could also see how the new Arcade1Up deck has a similar style that makes it look better, to just similar to the Bobby Voo, even though the Bobby Voo deck is way nicer, way more custom. You're not going to get that on a cabinet. Like, you're not going to pay $500 for a cabinet and get what's equivalent to that Bobby Voo deck, because it's not. You're basically doubling the cost of your cabinet. So just keep that in mind. If it's something you're really passionate about, then it's worth getting one. But Arcade1Up did step it up on this deck. So, and there's your proof. There's your proof in the pudding right there. So let's see what else I got in here. We got, oh, here's a video of them side by side. We could see that, yeah, you can see the deck, you can see the risers, you can see the height. Obviously the Big Blue's a little bit taller. And then we got the artwork again. Super awesome, amazing artwork. And the screen, it looks like it's about the same height. The angle looks a little bit more on the Yoga Flame. So there's that. Here's a side-by-side at this angle, obviously showing the artwork. Again, you can see the control deck is taller. And let's see if I got anything else. Oh, one more. There you go. There it is again. So, Big Blue, Yoga Flame, side-by-side. You got it, right? Okay, so here I opened up the control deck. I made a video here, but I can go ahead and play it. Let's see.
Okay, so I took the plastic panel off the Yoga Flame. Let's see it right
Pretty
there.
typical stuff.
Similar, obviously encoder board. Buttons look the same, sticks looks the same. I do think it feels better, but it still looks the same as the others. I'm sure it's glued in, so that's gonna be fun when I change that out. I'm not gonna change it out tonight, but I will.
Still haven't changed them out.
Soon.
I will though.
Thought I would show you what the inside looks like. Obviously we got the headphone jack here and live button over there. Looks like these cables are easily replaceable, making for IL or HAP competition buttons with micro switches.
Can't wait.
I will use.
I love doing that stuff. I'll have to make a video. I'll do a mod video if you guys are interested in changing the sticks. I know a lot of people do it, but I'll do it.
Do something else too. We'll see.
So you let me know. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about here is, does the Bobby Voo deck work on the cabinet? So it's not cut the right way, right? It's cut for the Big Blue. So, but does it work when it's plugged into the PCB for the new Yoga Flame? Let's see. There we are. Look at that. Of course, I'm holding the camera. So I'm trying to do this with one hand while I'm holding the camera. I'm not going to fight very well with one hand. Yeah, I lost, but oh well. You can see there that it was working. So the other thing I did was I actually plugged it into the Big Blue. I took the whole PCB out, I plugged it into the Big Blue cabinet, and I was just going to play it in the Big Blue cabinet. But the problem was I only got like flashing colors. Like I got red and blue and green, and it just flashed through the colors. And I flipped the wire, the way it was connected, and I flipped it around and made sure all the pins went in and everything, and I just got a black screen. So I may have to revisit that and see why it didn't work and see if I can get it working. But it did work with the deck. All the decks will work. They're all universal at this point, really. All the Street Fighter, all the Marvel Capcom decks, they do work. I'm sure I could get the Big Blue working. If I have to replace the screen, I do, but it doesn't make sense because it's the exact same model screen. The wires are a little bit different, so I don't know if that factors in, but it could just be that I messed something up because of the way the wires were placed. I don't know, but I will go back and try to plug in the Big Blue again and see if it'll work, because that would be a big upgrade if you really like your Big Blue shape, because that 2 GHz processor is going to be, you know, very helpful, very nice. Or maybe you just like the beat 'em up games better, you know? So, you know, we got that going on. So now let's get into the games. Let's get in to see the games that are on here. Okay. Alright, so I want to go through the games list real quick. We got the marquee title, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Thigh. Okay, so I want to go through the games list real quick. We got the marquee title, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. We got Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. We got Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. We got Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. We got Pro Gear, Giga Wing, Battle Circuit, Captain Commando, Armored Warriors, Strider, Final Fight, the one everyone wanted, The King of Dragons, a nice beat 'em up, Saturday Night Slam Masters, and Capcom Sports Club. So there's the titles. Let's take a look at a few. Alright, so let's check out a few titles. Obviously, a lot of people want a Final Fight. We'll check out Final Fight here. Probably just play a little bit real quick and then jump to something else. Anyway, Final Fight runs pretty good. What else is on here? Oh, the King of the Dragons. I was surprised. You know, I was missing Knights of the Round with this arcade that's on the Big Blue. And King of the Dragons reminds me of that style of game. Not quite the same. I like Knights of the Round a little bit better, but this is a fun game, a fun addition. Let's go with the dwarf here. I love the way he comes up and goes, whoa! Alright. You can see, kind of like Golden Axe, kind of, you know, a little bit like Knights of the Round. It's a lot of fun, good beat 'em up. This cabinet is very beat 'em up heavy. Very beat 'em up. You got Final Fight, King of the Dragons, Armored Warriors. The list goes on. So if you like beat 'em ups, this is a good cabinet. Obviously, you get the fighting games too, the Saturday Night Slam Masters and the 3 Street Fighters. Not as many fighting games as Big Blue. And the one noticeable admission to this Capcom Legacy, well, there's two really. One is going to be Ghosts and Goblins, and the other one for me is going to be, you know, 1942, 1943, something like that. They didn't go with any of those on this one. They've been on other Capcom Legacies. Maybe it's just because they're not as good online play. I don't know. But it's great to have Final Fight, because I didn't have that one on the other one. I got a good collection now between these two Capcom machines. Ah! Woo! I'm gonna have to. Oh, come on! Where are you? Get in here. Man, half my energy's already gone. There we go! Dwarf defeated the Orc King! His name is Dwarf, funny enough. Alright, you can see that's going to be a lot of fun. There's King of the Dragon. Final Fight we already did. Strider, a lot of people know Strider. action platform beat 'em up type game. It's got kind of all those Armored Warriors, beat 'em up with robots. Captain Commando, that's a classic. Battle Circuit and Gigawing. Yeah, Gigawing's a shooter. Pro Gear is a shooter. I like Gigawing a little bit better. Let's show off Gigawing. All right. Like getting those power-ups. I love shooters. I play a lot of shooters. Very underrated genre to me. Lots of fun playing shooters. Capcom's got some okay shooters, you know, and it's good to have some on this Legacy edition here, for sure. Ah! Ran right into that. As you can see, Gigawing, lots of fun. What I want to do real quick is check out what the lobbies are. It's about 11 o'clock at night on a Friday. Let's see what's going on in Champions Edition, or Champion Edition. We got some... Look at this. Look at this. We got people in Champion Edition. I'm going to get my butt kicked, but we're going to join and see. Playing online matchup. Had a little audio glitch there. Maybe a little lag on the internet. I don't know. I wanted to throw a right into his throw. I'm about to lose this potential victory. Ah! It was looking good for me to start. Come on. Ah! Block. There we go. Ah, I missed it. Man, I was trying to do it. You see, I missed that. Man. Fairly good match with a purple ranked player. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to show you by pressing player 2, we could get to the menu here, the settings. Obviously, I set the difficulty to difficult. You got demo sound and scan lines, so you can turn the scan lines on or off for each individual game. So if you hit save and exit, I can go into hyper fighting. We can take a look at the scan lines.
And it's daylight now, so you can see the the window in the background. But let's see if I can block it there. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. See the scan lines in there. Let's get into the game real quick. You can see that they're going to be a lot more subtle. They're not as heavy as the previous. The Big Blue scan lines are so dark, and I never have them on. I was not a fan. These are a lot better. So yay to scan lines, right? All right, let's exit real quick. We're going to exit. All right, so I'm going to show you the settings, but I'll have to move up because I don't want you to see my serial number. Of course, I got it there. Okay, so I had to move the camera up because I don't want you to see my serial number, but the settings on here are network settings, restore factory settings, menu sound effects, menu background music, check for update, and back to main menu. So I guess I just go there, boom, back to main menu. Well, now you see.
All right, so that is our review of the Yoga Flame 2022 Capcom Legacy cabinet. I'm so excited to have it in my collection. Obviously, it's great to have access to the deal that I had, so I was able to secure Yoga Flame. The pros of this cabinet, so we got some pros and some cons. Just to summarize, the pros are we have 14 games with online play, right? 8 of these games are different than what's on Big Blue. Lots of beat 'em ups, some good ones. A lot of fun to play. Could play through them online with your friends if you want. I'm hoping that Sosa gets one of these cabinets so we could play through some of these beat 'em ups together. That would be great. The BOE monitors on it. I didn't mention at the beginning, but this is the BOE monitor. If you didn't know, it's the same exact model number that's in the Big Blue, so it looks great. The same Capcom lobbies that we are familiar with the spectate mode, and you can see rankings and that kind of thing. So it's a really good, it's an Arcade1Up, really awesome thing that they have going, the Capcom lobbies, and I hope they bring this interface to other cabinets, because could you imagine how much better the community would be in these other cabinets if they had the same thing that these Capcom cabinets have? And if they could put Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on it, they surely could put these other games, right? So, the other thing, it's pro. The control deck, it's a lot better. It looks more like an arcade. It feels more like an arcade. It doesn't look like a toy like some of the previous models did. It looks fantastic. It's got a better height, especially if you're taller. You could play this thing standing up. It's not a problem like it was before. You can play it still sitting on a stool. It's great. The deck is a huge improvement, right? The next thing would be the processor. It's faster. It's 2 gigahertz as opposed to 1.3 gigahertz. So you get that better, smoother gameplay. It's a lot more enjoyable. It's definitely a step above the previous model, the Big Blue. The cons: no Dalsim on the bezel. He's missing. Why he's missing from the Yoga Flame cabinet, I don't know, but that's a con, right? The marquee seems slightly off-center vertically, so that's a little bit of a con. It's not too bad. I'm not mad about it. It's not bothering me a lot, but it's kind of like, could have done this a little bit better. The buttons could be better, but that was expected. Going into this, that was expected. The pro to that is I can put whatever buttons I want on it, and I didn't get charged for the better buttons and the cost of the cabinet. So that's good. So I can spend a little bit and get some better buttons, and it'll be exactly like what I want, right? So what I want to ask of you guys is, please comment down below. Please tell me what you think of the Yoga Flame cabinet, what you think of the Shinko Hadoken cabinet. If you're getting one of them, if you think one of those should be in your collection, what games on this cabinet are your favorite, or maybe what's the dark horse game for you? Which one do you think is the sleeper, right? And then also, I'm really close to 300 subs. I'm hoping to get up to 500 really soon, because I want to have those community posts. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I want to do a community post, but I can't yet. So I'm hoping to get there so we could have community posts as far as Steps Gaming. That would be awesome. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did. And also, please like this video if you enjoyed it. That lets me know, if I'm doing a good job. And if you didn't like it, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs down. But hopefully you enjoyed it, right? And I look forward to seeing you guys all again. It's an honor and a privilege, as I always say, that you watch my content. And it gives me a fantastic feeling that people watch my videos, right? So, until next time, right? Thank you.